Twitch and YouTube. Welcome to the show, and we'll be starting off here in just a second with Facebook to catch everybody up to date on what is going on. So stay tuned because we got a lot to talk about here for the most part. We do have some interesting astronomical news to talk about. We'll have more on that in just a little bit, but stand by. Let's get Facebook into the mix, and here we go. All right, a couple of minutes past our usual start time at 9:45 Eastern. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. Welcome to Weather Overtime for Tuesday, the 4th of August. It's been a decent day across the area. Temperatures have not been all that bad considering, again, this is early August, so we could easily be way up into the high 90s to lower 100s. Definitely getting hotter as we go into next week. And again, also looking for the potential of some more showers and thunderstorms and some flash flooding potential in the next couple of days. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Astronomical news tonight in just about 5 hours, maybe a little less from where we record this, at about 2:30 Wednesday morning, about a 4-story tall part of a rocket booster owned by SpaceX is going to impact Earth's moon. And with a telescope, it might be visible at this point. Again, not going to be a huge catastrophic explosion, but it is going to be pretty big considering the amount of mass that's going to be slamming into the lunar surface very quickly. That'll happen later on. We'll talk more about that, and we've posted the information to social media, so stay tuned for more there. Let's go ahead and get going. We've got a lot to talk about in and of itself, but not too much going on for tonight. Low temperatures tonight about the time that we hit daybreak tomorrow morning, possibly the 60s into the lower 70s. But for that late night snack run, temperatures will be back in the low to mid 70s, and also looking at the possibility of not too much in the way of rainfall early on. But like today, if you're going to be sending the kids, the teachers out for a school day, pack the rain gear for the travel home because you may need that. And yes, it's time to start talking about this. A lot of school districts already in motion, including down into northern Georgia. So that is where we could see some problems heading home from school with the chances of showers and thunderstorms popping up there. We'll talk about the complete forecast here in just a little bit. Beautiful view, sunrise above the cloud tops of Cleveland, Tennessee. Thank you very much, News 12 viewer Steve Frontiero. Hope I'm saying that correctly, from the Cleveland area. Do appreciate sending in that picture there, and we'll talk more about where you can send the pictures. To go to our website, our app, or our social media pages if you'd like to drop those off. Clouds coming and going, looking back toward Lookout Mountain. Apparently the Lookouts game tonight around Erlinger Park was scrubbed earlier tonight. No score on the scoreboard online, so we don't have much of anything to tell you about there. Rick Nyman will have more on sports coming up at News 12 at 11. Temperatures back in the mid-70s, and again, maybe dropping a little farther than this downwards into later on this evening, but otherwise, again, not doing too bad on the temperatures. Winds decent, east-southeast about 14. Humidity levels are up once again, and we'll continue to see the potential for more of these wandering showers and thunderstorms across portions of the area. Heaviest activity right now, such as it is, off the Atlantic coast down toward Florida, and some more clusters of thunderstorms central South Carolina, drifting to the north. Bit of an area of low pressure, high elevated low pressure here, making its way across the southeast United States, right along that old stationary boundary. Now we do have, again, some clusters of showers and thunderstorms taking place. The flash flood warning for Fannin and Gilmer counties, that has been allowed to expire. The flood advisory for Cherokee County in North Carolina and Polk County in Tennessee, that also has been allowed to expire at that point. But we do still have some thunderstorms, mainly north of the Tennessee line. Should mention, anybody who's never been here before, this is the News 12 viewing area. Southeast Tennessee, northeast Alabama, North Georgia, and extreme western North Carolina, including Cherokee County. western part of North Carolina up against the Tennessee line. That is the News 12 viewing area. That's where we're coming to you from. Chattanooga around Hamilton County, and a thunderstorm around Hamilton County that is drifting its way up to the north around Soddy Daisy and across the area again right around Collegedale. It's not what it once was, but we do still have the potential of some heavy rainfall out there from some of these storms, and some of these could give us the potential of maybe some flash flooding going on. Even heavier than that, right along the northern tier of the News 12 counties, I-40 between Harriman and Crossville up here, thunderstorms around Spring City, Highway 27, mostly covering Ray County, drifting into northeastern Bledsoe County, and that again, non-severe, but could be some localized heavy rainfall that could be a problem out there. Down into Georgia, what's left of these formerly flash flooding thunderstorms, now just rainfall drifting down toward Atlanta, Roswell, around the Alpharetta area, and that's really about all that we have left over at this point. Beyond that, there are a few more showers and thunderstorms out there back to the northwest of Knoxville, drifting back toward Middle Tennessee. Beyond that, again, things will remain relatively quiet for the rest of this evening. We've got a dying front sitting across the southeast U.S., and again, that's where that spin is coming from at this time. So we do see the potential for more of these showers and thunderstorms developing, not because of this front, but because the daylight heat from the sun is doing a good job of shining down, boiling the atmosphere, and doing a good job of creating even more thunderstorms. And that's the way it's, going to look in the course of the next several days. We do have a front that's trying to make its way in from the northwest, but because of high pressure back to the northeast of that and us, that's going to be pushing back to the north on there, and that's going to not allow this front to head our direction. Same thing with the next front up beyond the banner. That will be heading down our way. That'll give us the best potential of showers and thunderstorms out there to our north. We will see this scattered possibility of activity through the rest of the week, and where the rain and the clouds are not, that is where we're going to see the very hot temperatures, high 90s to triple digits possible, and that'll go straight on into the weekend where we see the numbers back into around the triple digits back to our west, but more chances of rainfall for where we are across much of the region. Now, the flash flooding risk will stay with us. It's not a huge possibility, 1 out of 4 marginal potential, and again, that will be the worst possibility for tonight. But watch what happens as we go forward in time. Tomorrow, the threat includes all the News 12 viewing area, and then for Thursday, mainly the eastern half of the News 12 viewing area, and then it sticks around into Friday and also into Saturday. What this means is that if you have an area of ground and the thunderstorms keep passing over that same area again and again and again, one after the other, more rain on top of more rain on top of more rain, that is where we will see the best possibility of flash flooding. So if you live, work, or drive through any low-lying areas and debris clogs up anything the way of that rainwater escaping, that's where the rain can really begin to build up and cause problems. And that's where we could see the potential danger into the next several days. So for right now, that's the worst of what we're seeing. Severe weather, moderate possibility tonight, minor I should say, but nothing much else beyond that. Now into the eastern part of the Atlantic, dry, dusty air coming in from off the Sahara, and then we look around the area of the rest of the Atlantic, nothing going on according to the National Hurricane Center. That's partially due to that dry, dusty air, but it's also due to El Nino in the Pacific. This area of the Pacific is very overly normal warm waters, and that is helping to divert moisture, and because the air is rising around this area, it's coming back down again, or what's called subsidence, down across the Atlantic, the Gulf, and the Caribbean, which means that anything forming in the Atlantic or the Gulf or the Caribbean meets that descending air and can't make its way up because of that blocking descending air coming on down. Now, in the Pacific, we do have two Possible new systems developing. Number one, closer to Hawaii, not much of a chance of development here. Number two, farther to the east, just off of the western Central America area. That one also not giving us too much of anything in the way of any major amounts of problems. So far looking pretty good, but if you are heading to Hawaii for a vacation in the next couple of weeks, again, that is where we will see the worst of the worst into the area there. That could be a bit of a problem across portions of the area. Not seeing a lot, again, into the next several days that's going to help in the way of anything involving change, but there is going to be the potential, again, of basically the same thing all over again. We're not getting anything in the way of any cooler weather. We are not getting any drier weather anytime soon. There's going to be plenty of moisture out there for us to have to deal with. Not quite as bad as it was about 3 weeks ago or so, but there will be the potential of those showers and thunderstorms continuing across the area for the foreseeable future, right on in through Election Day, National Root Beer Float Day on Thursday. That's going to be a potential possibility out there again for getting out and casting your vote, but don't let that stop you. If you're registered to vote, get out and vote and make certain you get that taken care of. Again, this will continue through the rest of the next few days. Monday is World Lion Day, a good day to talk about conservation and what we can all do to help our planet remain habitable and, as much as we possibly can, be good stewards of our environment. Otherwise, temperatures not changing anytime soon. Bit of lightning in the background there. 90s for high temperatures, lows in the low to mid 70s, and chances of rain and thunderstorms all the way throughout the early part of the second week of August. So really not looking great for outdoor activities. We've got athletic camps, we've got 2 days going on, we've got vacation Bible school, we've got all kinds of outdoor activities, camping, boating, fishing, hiking, whatever. Whatever you're doing, pay attention to what's happening with the forecast and make certain you are watching what is going on when it comes to anything happening into and around the area. So that, again, could be something that really makes a difference and makes certain that you are paying attention to everything happening there. Let's take a look at our poll for the day, brought to you by Williams Plumbing Services. Going upwards from the ground into the rest of the atmosphere, so from the ground up towards space. What comes next? You've got the troposphere, lower portion of the atmosphere where about 90% of all the moisture on Earth in the atmosphere resides. The stratosphere is just above that, but what comes above the stratosphere? The mesosphere, the ionosphere, the thermosphere, or the exosphere? Well, actually, this kind of goes in descending order because the correct answer is actually the mesosphere. It's the middle or meso portion of the atmosphere. So that is our answer, which nobody voted for. Everybody was voting for the thermosphere. Thanks to Williams Plumbing for being our sponsor on this page. We'll have a new poll going up at midnight tonight, so stay tuned for more of that, and we'll keep you advised as to what's going on. Don't forget, we got other polls available for news, sports, our Let's Chat function show in the morning. Waffle Wednesday should kick off with just a few showers left over, possibly. Some patchy fog, not out of the question, but mostly we should be done with the rain, and then we should be looking at the potential for just clouds kind of coming and going across the area. Update on time saver traffic, all the day's news, weather, sports, especially weather. Chip Chapman will have more details on that coming up on the morning show. That starts at 5 a.m., so stay tuned for that. Space can be a dangerous place, and this is one good example about why space debris needs to be considered and monitored. The areas in orbit around our planet turning into a junkyard of stuff that is moving at 17,500 miles per hour. And just something the size of a marble can do a very good job of slamming into something else and creating a miniature crater. Lots of damage. It's actually a wonder in some ways that the space stations have not been impacted by some of this stuff. They're impacted by tiny little stuff, but imagine a fleck of paint moving at 17,000 miles per hour. and you think, oh, that's no big deal. Well, it can cause a lot of damage. In this case, this is a leftover rocket booster, or what's called a rocket body, courtesy of SpaceX. It's a Falcon 9 rocket system that lifted off early in January of 2025. And a lot of this stuff stays in orbit of our planet, degrades the orbit, falls onto the planet or into the ocean more than likely. This rocket body has been heading outwards toward the moon. It was designed to launch a couple of rover technology pieces onto the lunar surface. Well, now the booster, the rocket body, is about 4 stories tall. It's devoid of any fuel, but this thing weighs quite a lot. It weighs, again, about almost 5 tons, and it's 45 feet long. Again, that's about as tall as a 4-story building. This is going to impact the lunar surface at over 5,000 miles per hour. So this is going to come in very quickly, and it's hours away from happening as we talk about this. It's expected to hit right over the lunar, what's called the limb of the moon, at about 2:35 Eastern Daylight Time. That's, again, 1:35 Central Daylight Time. Now, will we be able to see this happen from the Earth with a telescope? Yes. It's doubtful that this will have as much as a fireball that can be seen from Earth, with the understanding that the impact of just all this equipment without fuel falling on the lunar surface could be equivalent to 3 tons of dynamite. That's a big thing, and there is a possibility that right afterwards we could see a plume of lunar dust going upwards, maybe as much as, say, 50 kilometers off the lunar surface. So this will be possible. Again, the moon will be rising in the east as we go into the area around midnight. It'll be in around Andromeda, Pisces, Perseus, and just to the north of the Pleiades, which will be rising off the eastern horizon area coming up. It'll be a waning gibbous moon, so it'll be halfway dark. It should strike on the bright side of the moon. Again, seeing it with your eyes, probably not likely, and this is the best estimate of a time that we have for right now. But again, with a telescope aiming in that general area, you might be able to see it if the clouds have parted across the area with all this rain and moisture that we have down at the lower levels of the atmosphere. So for right now, again, 2:35 Eastern Time, just as the moon is rising, we'll see if anything is visible there. Good pair of binoculars, that might work. Telescope would be best, but naked eye viewing, doubtful at this point. So that is something we will be keeping a very close eye on, and keep it tuned to News 12 as we go into tomorrow. We'll keep you updated on all of that, and hopefully some good video that will be taken overnight. We'll see if anybody has that coming up on the morning show. That should do it for tonight. Again, things are relatively quiet here for now. No comments on Facebook, none on YouTube or Twitch for tonight. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Don't forget again about Chip Chapin. He'll have more on your forecast coming up on the morning show, so stay tuned for that. We'll go ahead and send it back to your regular Tuesday events, whatever it is you have going on. Questions, concerns, ideas, please let us know. Again, my email address in the blue bar near the bottom of the screen, aonek@WDEF.com, if you'd like to check out more there. And, of course, you can catch us on all these social media pages as well. Have to say a big thank you again to our sponsor, Epicos, comics, cards, and games. You can reach them at epicosccg.com, your one-stop geek shop. Thanks to all of our sponsors for working with us here at News 12. That'll do it for tonight. Thanks for joining us for Tuesday, the 4th of August, and we'll talk to you again coming up on Wednesday.